10864. Stations your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
Man, it feels great to be a Duck.
Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Their competitors, they'll want to put the O on.
Three, got it!
We're going to compete to a standard every day.
The Oregon standard.
Rebound. Up and in. 1 point more to go.
The opportunity to play, put Oregon on your chest, should mean a great deal to you.
Unloads on one into left field. Back toward the wall. Gone!
This program is staged to compete and to win championships.
Oregon wins!
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, let's talk Oregon athletics.
It is game day here at the University of Oregon. Duck softball in action tonight at 6 o'clock at the Jane against number 24 Utah. Duck baseball at USC in what I think is a surprisingly excellent series with a Trojans team that's better than expected this year. That one getting going at 6:30. Pregame with Joey Mack getting going at 6:15. Duck softball against the Utes. 13-game winning streak on the line. You're going to want to pack the Jane, create an excellent environment, create a postseason-like environment. It feels like every game from now on is postseason softball. We're going to talk about that with Ryan Milano, who's here right now. Ryan Milano voiced the team. Ryan, how are you, man?
I'm doing great, Jordan. Thanks for having me.
Postseason softball, you feel it in your bones yet? What's going on here?
Oh, I'm amped up. I'm ready for postseason. We're at the end of a little bit of a long year, so once you get to this back end of Pac-12 play, you're doing all the scenarios. You're running, where is Oregon going to fit in the Pac-12 seating? Where are the Ducks going to fit in the regional seedings? Are they going to host? I think that's something that is on the minds of especially me.
Yep.
And so we'll see where everything sort of shapes out. But for me in the booth, that's all I'm doing on the broadcast. I'm running scenarios. I'm not sure if half of them are correct, but I'm trying my best.
Yeah, well, journalism majors, we're not very good at those scenario things, but
Math
I'm
is
glad
hard.
you're trying. I'm really glad you're trying. Hey, tonight, bring canned food items to the Jane. Great cause, Cinco de Mayo. Bringing non-perishable food items, that's a great thing, and it's going to a great benefit to the Relief Nursery. So reminder to all Duck softball fans tonight at 6 for the game against Utah. We're going to dive into the series. We're going to dive into some general storylines about this team. But we got to focus on Ryan Milano first. I mean, would you call yourself a newcomer to the show still? Or do you feel like the introduction's been made?
That's a hard
Hosted
question.
couple times.
Well, because I feel like I'm in here a lot because I'm directing the show
Yes.
most of the time. But
True.
I've been more of a behind the camera presence, so it's good to be in front of the camera. It's good to talk to you. I've hosted a few times. I've been on the panel a few times as a guest. So yeah, it's good to be here. I'm not sure if I'm a newcomer or not. Hopefully, people don't think I'm a newcomer.
Let's call
that means
this.
I'm doing my job.
Let's call this interview your graduation from being a newcomer into more of a sustained guest, an experienced guest, huh? So, second year calling softball.
Second year.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going great, Jordan.
Okay.
It's hard to complain when it's a 13-game win streak right now, and the difference between last year to this year, it's completely stark. This team is a better team than they were last year. They're more experienced. They're more poised. And I think this team has the extreme capability to make a run due to their depth in the pitching staff, due to their senior talent with experience across the lineup. And this lineup is a lot longer than it was last year. I think the difference between last year and this year for me is extreme.
Well, it's a fun team to be around. Last year's team was fun too, but you're right. It feels a little bit different. Ducks trying to host a regional this year for the first time since 2018. I think it's different. What do you think? I think this could be the year that they do that. Explain why you also think so, if you do.
Well, I agree with you. And I think there's a lot of different little things that make it so that Oregon is more equipped to go deeper this season than they did last year. And the first of which, you just have to look at Pac-12 play. Oregon at the beginning of Pac-12 play, they faced off against UCLA, Washington, Stanford. Those are three of the best teams in the conference. Oregon last year against the best teams in the conference, they struggled. This year, Oregon lost the series against all three of those teams, but they were in every single game and fighting down to the wire. Then you got into this month of April. Last year, the Ducks were 4-11 in April. This year, the Ducks are 15-1 in April. And Oregon is just really making quick work of the back end of conference play, and that's the experience and that's the results for a team that you want to see, taking care of business and showcasing that you are one of the top teams in the conference. And I do think if the UCLA series, the Washington series, the Stanford series was played again today, this Oregon team is better right now than they were a month and a half ago.
Yeah, it seems like it's clicking on all cylinders, and that's as a group. I think they're playing together. But also, you can't ignore some of the individual performances that have been on another level. Kylie Shar, for example, somebody you talk about all the time. What have you seen from her? Why has she been such a spark plug for this team recently?
Well, I'm glad you bring it up because Kylie Shar, I think, is one of the big pieces for this Oregon team. She got healthy after a wrist fracture to come back and be able to hit at the beginning of this month. So this streak for Oregon is with Kylie Shar in the lineup. Over the last 13 games, she's hitting .537. And Melissa Lombardi calls her and Hannah Delgado the dynamic duo at the top, both of which have an on-base percentage right now over the last 13 games of over .500. And when you're having table setters like that for Tara McGowan and Allie Bunker in the 3 and 4 spot for the Ducks, the RBI totals for Bunker and McGowan are way up, and that's because there are women on base in front of them who are setting the table. And Kylie Shar is almost an automatic single when she gets the bat on the ball because she is so fast. When she puts the ball down, it's that high chop. It forces defenders to jump a lot of the time. And if a defender on the left side of the infield has to leave their feet, they're not going to get the throw to first base before Kylie Shar busts down the baseline.
You know, I always think it's interesting with long winning streaks. A lot of it is, yeah, we're playing great, but there's also some luck along the way, some tougher, grittier wins, and this team has been able to do it in multiple different ways. Low-scoring affairs, high-scoring affairs. Mark Wasikowski for Duck Baseball talks about this all the time. You gotta win in different ways, and Melissa Lombardi's group has done that recently.
And that's why I thought this most recent weekend against California was so important. A lot of the wins for the Ducks over this streak have been games where Oregon has scored a lot offensively early, jumped out to big leads, got protection for their pitching staff, and the Oregon pitching staff was able to cruise through. That didn't happen in Game 3 against Arizona. It didn't happen in Game 3 this week against California. Cal was ahead of the Ducks in that game, Game 3 against Oregon, 4-0 early. And then the Ducks, their offense just continued to work. It's the same thing that happened against Arizona in Game 3, where the offense, when they're able to record big innings, really put up big numbers. In the fourth inning against Cal in Game 3, it was a 6-run inning because when this team is communicating well, when they're passing the bat, it almost seems like they're impossible to get out.
Home environment, Jane Sanders Stadium. Trying to, the Jane is always a tough place to play, but when you pack the stands for a big top 25 series like this, if Oregon's fortunate enough to host, you feel like that roar, that home field environment, that edge at the Jane is going to be there. When have we seen that this year, and do you think the fans have played a big part in this successful season for Coach Lombardi?
Yeah, you got to pack the Jane. Packing the Jane is incredibly important. It's one of the best venues in collegiate softball, and I've had the privilege to travel to a lot of them, especially around the Pac-12 over my time calling Oregon softball. There is few venues better than the Jane, and there have been a lot of games this year where I think the fans have made an extreme impact on this softball team. I think you look back to those series earlier in the year against a UCLA or a Stanford at the Jane, where those are incredibly good teams. The Jane was rocking, and those felt like postseason atmospheres from start to finish throughout the Friday through Sunday. Last week against Arizona, there was good turnout at the Jane. I think it's incredibly important for the fans to come out to Jane Sanders Stadium, it creates an entirely different atmosphere. And if the goal is to host postseason play at the Jane, create a postseason environment. And right now, Oregon has seen a lot of postseason environments at the Jane because of the raucous fans and the rowdy environment.
Ryan Milano, KWVA Sports Director, joining us, voice of the Oregon softball team. We're going to get a break. We're going to talk about the environment at the Jane a little bit more, some reasons to get out to the ballpark this weekend. More coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can go out and make memories that make summer, summer. Like catching a road game in a RAV4. I got it.
Toyota, let's go places. Participating dealers only. Event ends May 31st. Dealer inventory may vary.
Hey, Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Summer is here, and with a new Toyota, you can go out and make memories that make summer, summer. Like catching a road game in a RAV4. I got it.
Toyota, let's go places. Participating dealers only. Event ends May 31st. Dealer inventory may vary.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
To protect his home and family from disaster, Steve used courage, wisdom, and his camera phone.
That should do it.
Way to go, Steve! By simply taking digital pictures of his family's important documents, Steve can always have them stored safely online, no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Coming back to Duck Insider, Jordan Brenner and Ryan Milano, the KWVA Sports Director, inside the Country Financial Studio, getting ready for an Oregon softball series that starts tonight at 6 o'clock. Bring perishable food items. Non-perishable? Perishable?
Non-perishable.
Non-perishable. That's why you're here.
Perishable, go bad. Non-perishable, stay good.
Look at this. Thank
you
you
learn something new
much.
every day.
Non-perishable food items tonight at the Jane. Bark in the Park tomorrow. And then Senior Day coming up on Sunday. Ryan, I want to talk about Senior Day. Senior Day for you, in a way, as well. Say your goodbye, I guess, to the fans. Reflect on the overall experience of calling Oregon softball games, if you would.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ready for Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to just put that in the back of my mind as much as possible. I don't want to think about it yet. I haven't really put into context that it'll be my last regular season call at Jane Sanders Stadium. Hopefully it won't be my last call at Jane Sanders Stadium for postseason play. We're going to manifest that into existence.
That's right.
But the experience calling Oregon softball has just been great. The ability to create the relationship with the team, with the coaching staff, with the players, it's been awesome to follow along on the journey for this team and be a little bit of a small part of the success that the Ducks had last year, hopefully even more success this year. It feels good. I feel privileged to be a part of it.
Well, that's awesome. I know the fans have enjoyed listening to you. I certainly have. I think you've done a really good job continuing that long line of sports directors who I think have done a good job calling Duck softball games.
Including yourself.
Well, I don't know about that, but certainly people before me and definitely people after me as well.
You're too modest.
Ryan, your favorite moment from calling Duck softball games so far? Hopefully we're talking about a national championship call, I don't know, a month or so from now. Boy, it's coming on us quickly.
Yeah.
But so far, what's been the moment that you've enjoyed the most?
That's a hard question to answer. And there's a few moments that really pop up for me. I think the first moment last year when I was calling the team where I was really having fun was against Utah to start off Pac-12 play. Oregon was down by 3 runs going into the final inning. Allie Bunkert's a 3-run homer, ties the game up. Oregon ends up winning by a run. That was really the introduction to, okay, this team can be a whole lot of fun. Ariel Carlson's inside the Parker in the regional to tie it up against Arkansas. That, I think, might be my favorite play that I've called for Oregon softball.
That's on the reel, right?
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
good.
That when I send out tapes, it's of that inning. So yeah,
nice.
That play is pretty high up for me. And then there's just been so much this year, and I think that they keep coming week after week after week. I'm having more and more and more fun because this team keeps winning and winning and winning.
They do.
It's hard to complain about a winning streak, and when you win 13 in a row, you're having a lot of fun. And right now, the team's having a lot of fun. I'm having a ton of fun.
So Senior Day coming up on Sunday, couple just total studs graduating after this year.
That might even be an understatement.
Seriously, Allie Bunker, 169 consecutive games. How many sports directors has she played softball
At
under?
Least 3, maybe 4.
3 to 4. Allie Bunker has been consistently incredible throughout her Oregon career. What's her legacy going to be here as a Duck?
Can you believe that last week was the first time that she won Pac-12 Player of the Week?
That actually is really surprising.
It was incredibly surprising to me, and I was talking about it with some of the other guys at KWVA about I can't believe this is only your first time, and they brought up a great point. She's just the model of consistency. Week after week after week after week. I remember there was an 0-for-4 game in the opener against Arizona, and all the media was like, "Oh, what's wrong with Allie? What's wrong with Bunker? She went 0-for-4. Melissa Lombardi later said, nothing's wrong with Allie Bunker. She's fine. And that is what Allie Bunker brings to the table. She is so clutch. She is so consistent. She hasn't had a season where she struck out more than 10 times in her career. She is consistently one of the best in the country in terms of striking out the least amount of times. When you put the ball in play, you're going to get a lot of hits, and she has a lot of power to back it up too.
Yeah, we're going to be really emotional, I think, for a lot of Duck softball fans saying goodbye to Allie Bunker. Also, Tara McGowan, Senior Spotlight today. Here's a great video about Tara McGowan and her journey here at Oregon.
Tara McGowan from Mission Viejo, California, and I'm a catcher. I got in the transfer portal my freshman year, and Coach Lombardi was one of the first people to reach out, and as soon as I got here, it felt like home. Just trust the process. You're always going to end up where you were meant to be, and it's a long ride, but just keep trusting the process. I just want to leave softball better than I found it. I want to leave my legacy here at Oregon. I want to stay connected to the community, and I just want to have one final ride with the OGs from version 1.
Tara, just a bulldog from day one. Very straight to the point with everything that she does. Very blunt, and I like that. We have learned that she has a great ability to connect with people. I don't think she knows that her first year here, she would be a huge influencer on social media and be a major, major advocate for student athletes' mental health.
I want to be remembered as a Duck who was very, very involved in the community. I think this community is insane, and there's nothing quite like Eugene, so I want to be remembered as somebody who did whatever they could possible to, outreach to the community. This program has really helped me grow up as a person. We've been through a lot over our 5 years here, and I can only say good things about this program. I think it's matured me as a person. It's set me up for success after softball, and I can't thank Eugene enough.
Another senior celebrating this weekend, Tara McGowan. I think this is a good way to describe it. She's been a player who has had a great connection with Duck fans. And I think it makes sense because that's the backstop. The fans are literally right on top of Tara McGowan when she's catching a game at the Jane. And, boy, she's having her biggest season to date so far.
Oh, she's having a great year, and she's had a great year each of the last 3 years. Actually, the moment for Tara McGowan that sticks out to me is actually one that I wasn't on the call for. It was one that you were on the call for.
Arizona walk-off?
Against Arizona, where Oregon was getting no hit through the first 6. Haley Cruz gets a single. Tara McGowan, it's a walk-off home run. Ducks win 2-1. That was really the introduction of Tara McGowan, I guess, to Duck fans.
I think my voice is still recovering from that call like 2 years later. So that is that's cool. And does she have a couple more moments up her sleeve down the stretch? I'm betting on Tara McGowan. Talk about a clutch player who comes through in the big situation.
Oh, absolutely. And when you look at the situational stats, it's Tara McGowan, Allie Bunker. They're just so great with 2 outs, so great with runners on, so great with runners in scoring position. It's the reason why both of them are challenging for the RBI title this year, and I don't want to say anything yet, but the single-season top 10 rankings are in play, especially for that statistic for the both of them. And so last year, Tara McGowan missed the first half of the season, came back, second half of packed play, played like one of the best players in the conference. And if not for a tremendous, tremendous season for Bailey Klingler over at Washington, where she won the Pac-12 Triple Crown, I think that Tara McGowan put together a second half that was Pac-12 Player of the Year caliber. I think she's having an even better season this year. Those two, Allie Bunker, Tara McGowan, it's hard to tell the story of one without mentioning the other. They've just been so consistent.
I like that. 63 total runs batted in entering this year for her career. She already has 48 runs batted in this season. Mm-hmm. She has been one of the toughest outs in America this year. So one final series before the Pac-12 tournament, and then hopefully back to Eugene for regional. We'll see how things shake out over the next 2 weekends.
Knock on wood.
Starts with Utah, though. The keys to a series win, to maybe a series sweep against a very good Utah Utes team.
Yeah, it's a Utah team that's incredibly fast. They've got a great offense, and they have some good pitchers in the circle. So for Oregon, the key to success is going to get the initial outs against this Utah team because they like to run, and they like to run a lot. And I always say don't run on Tara McGowan. She's thrown out double-digit runners this year. So it's strength on strength.
Hopefully they do, just so we could see a couple more assists from Tara McGowan.
Actually, I hope they run a lot. I want them to run a lot because I think they'll be running into outs. But this is a Utah team that started off Pac-12 play incredibly hot, but they kind of had a reverse schedule to Oregon, where they played some of the teams that are currently now towards the bottom of the table earlier in Pac-12 play, and then they faced off against Stanford, Washington, UCLA in their last 3 Pac-12 series, and now are facing Oregon. Those right now are the top 4 teams in the conference, and Utah's lost their last 5 contests in a row in Pac-12 play. They lost the back 2 to Washington, got swept by UCLA. So if you're talking about momentum right now, Oregon's won 13 in a row. Utah's lost 5 Pac-12 games in a row. I think that this is a big series in terms of Pac-12 implications. I think you almost have to throw out the scenarios coming into the ball game, but those are some of the stats that I look at coming into the game to say, okay, who's playing their best ball right now? Oregon's playing their best ball.
Ducks going to try and take care of business. 3-game series starting tonight at 6. Fun to be at Oregon this time of year, right? You mentioned the word momentum. I think there's momentum building for both Diamond Sports programs right now. I know you haven't been able to be as locked into Duck baseball as I have been, and vice versa for softball. But your impressions of what Coach Wasikowski's doing this year in Duck baseball, I guess, across the river.
Yeah, I think it's great. Whenever an Oregon softball game finishes up and I get to catch you and Joey on the call, I always try to do that every chance I get. And this baseball team seems like they're hitting the stride at the right time, similar to where Oregon softball is. It's not the same winning streak of Duck softball, but it's consistency. Taking 2 of 3, taking series. I can't even remember the last time Oregon baseball lost a series, and it seems like the offense, which was setting records, program records last year, it seems like the Oregon offense is back to their last year's selves, and maybe even better than that right now.
Well, the Ducks going for the double host. What do you say? How does that sound, Ryan?
Sounds great to me.
Double host. Let's do it. Well, I appreciate your time, buddy. On the call tonight, what time's the pregame show?
First pitch is at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Pregame show is going to probably start about 10 minutes before first pitch.
And who's on color tonight?
Myself and Saul Galvan.
Good stuff. You can watch the game on Pac-12 networks and then simulcast the KWVA call tonight as well. Ryan, appreciate you, man.
Thanks, buddy.
Have a good call tonight. Let's get a break. We'll come back and we'll hear from some softball student athletes here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, OnPoint proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. OnPoint Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Chris Jakimick, I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. Is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider. Jordan Brenner inside the Country Financial Studio. 13-game winning streak for Duck softball. Averaging over 8 runs per game during this winning streak and giving up less than 2 runs per game during the winning streak. That is a recipe for success, I'd say. Let's hear from some Duck softball players before tonight's game at 6 p.m. We'll start off with Caitlin Howard, who had a really good interview this week previewing the series against Utah.
Run down the winning streak, 13 in a row. For you, who's been on this team for a long time, just how does it feel to go on a run like this late in the season?
I think it feels really good. All 3 cylinders are firing right now, and that's just something we've preached and tried to work on this whole year. We've also been trying to play for each other, and I think that's something that we've seen the last couple of weeks, and that's been a key contribution to our success. So,
the difference between last year and this year is stark. Last year in April, there were 3 times you guys got swept. Now this year you swept 3 different teams. What, on like a year-to-year basis, can you assess from last year to this year what is different?
I think people really understand their roles and what we need each person to contribute, whether that's in the dugout, on the field, coming in for someone else. Like, everybody knows their role and knows how to embrace that, and I think that's something that's changed over the year. That's been huge to our success.
How do you view your role? What would you define your role as?
Definitely, this year I've been getting a lot more opportunity than in the past, so I think for me it's just someone coming in off the bench and providing an impact offensively mainly, and hitting the ball hard, see what happens is kind of my thing this year.
Every year has their own identity and players and the relationships. Last year I had heard a lot of the team was really tight. This year the team is obviously still really tight, but it seems, going back to what you talked about, that team mentality, the team kind of has a greater than approach to things. Could you maybe explain that a little bit and what the difference is?
I think we really dug into our whys, and each person, each player, our team's why, programs why we chose this university. And I think hearing everybody's stories, hearing their path to get here has kind of contributed to that, and playing for, we call it the 3 Bs, but the people beside us, the people in front of us, and the people behind us. So I think that's been a huge thing for us.
Are those 3 Bs what you just mentioned, the people beside, behind, and in front?
Before, beside, behind. So we refer to it as the 3 Bs, and I think that's just been a huge thing that's kind of been what we all go to when good, bad, anything.
When you're talking about your whys with everyone, how did you sort of feel like your whys overlapped? Like people were saying the same message for why they wanted to be here, why they wanted to win.
I think the biggest thing was just everyone grew up looking out or following in everyone wanted to follow in the footsteps of someone they looked up to, and I think everyone here wants to be that person for the younger generation, and the only way to be that person is to do it with the people around you. And so I think that's kind of been a common theme for us.
The season's not over. Obviously, you've still got a lot in front of you guys. I expect you guys to do great things still. But as you kind of come to the end of the regular season and that 5-year experience, have you had the chance to kind of reflect on what your role in this foundation has been? I mean, you may not see the field as much as some, but you are perhaps more integral than the people that do.
Yeah, I think for me, it's being that person that people can go to off the field. I think I've had such a big impact, more so off the field than on the field, a lot would say. And I feel like I've always been that person for anybody to go to. When times are tough, softball's tough, life's tough. And so I think just embracing my role and being a good teammate is something that people will remember me for. And that's something that I pride myself on. So.
Hosting a regional has obviously been a big emphasis on this team. For you personally, what would it mean to be able to host postseason play at the Jane?
I think it would be incredible. Everyone talks about seeing the stadium filled up, and we've seen glimpses of it this year. And I think if we do host a regional, it will be that to the full extent. And I think that would be really cool to witness kind of on my way out and just kind of show the people behind us that that is the standard, and that will continue to come in years beyond this.
Senior Day coming up this weekend. Just what will that day mean for you?
I'm the most emotional of the 5, so I'm going to be the biggest mess, and everyone's already been talking about it. But it's going to be bittersweet. I think all of us leaving know we have left this place better than we found it, but I think all of us would love to be here longer if we could, so it'll be bittersweet.
When you first arrived, what were your thoughts or expectations coming into a program that had kind of had the upheaval and situation that it was going through at the time?
I think just getting back to postseason and making a name for ourselves in postseason, not just getting there, but going far. And I think that's something that this program had before we got here, and it's something we're striving to keep as a standard of this program. And so just seeing our success the last couple of years and hopefully this year is something huge for us.
Have you realized all of the expectations that you had coming into the program? I mean, obviously, you guys have. You've grown the program. You've kind of rebuilt it, created a new foundation, new culture. You guys are going back to the postseason, potentially having the hosting abilities. How does that realization kind of play out in your mind?
It's crazy. I don't think it will ever really feel real, but it's a good feeling to know that we left this place better than we found it. And I think just continuing to help the younger people on this team grow and continue to maintain that standard and just increase it every year, I think will be the best feeling, is seeing their success in years to come more so than our success right now. I think it's huge.
With Tara and Allie in particular, you guys have been together for 5 years now. Is there a group story or maybe a story with each of them individually that you will kind of look back on after you're done here and think of with fond memories?
There's so many stories. I just think the biggest thing with them is the 3 of us have been through so much good, bad, ugly, all of it. And I think just being able to stay with each other through all of that and kind of find out a lot about ourselves, about each other, relationships in general. I just feel like the 3 of us have really learned how to be good people, how to be good teammates, how to be successful on and off the field and just in life, and really just lean on each other. And I think that's something that I know I struggled with, was going to other people for help. And I think that's something the 3 of us have been able to do a really good job at.
Do you have a plan for when Allie plays her first game to go out and see her play with the Pride?
I know. I was talking to her. I want to, obviously, depending on my career after softball, I might not be able to, but I would love to go see her this summer, and I'm hoping Tara will go with me. Some others. Have some other friends playing in the league, so I think it'd be cool if I see a little Jordan Bunk matchup somewhere. But, yeah.
It's Caitlin Howard. Good to hear from her. Let's get another one before we go to a break. Here is Reagan Breedlove, pitcher for the Ducks.
So 13 in a row, just compared to last year at this point, to this year at this point, what's different on a year-to-year basis from last year when the month of April was a down month to now where only lose one game in the month of April.
Yeah, I think this year we just feel it's like our team has such a better connection. Just our team as a whole is growing so much more. Like 1 through 21, we're all improving every day, like everything. I think Coach Marty talks about getting hot at the right time. We're kind of like peaking right now. We're peaking at the perfect time, so I think that's playing a huge role. I think it's perfect time to peak.
How you're talking about peaking, but at the same time, you guys also recognize like you have opportunities to grow. How comforting is that to know that you're not playing your absolute best? You still have room for improvement while you're peaking. Kind of, the ceiling hasn't been reached, I guess.
Yeah, I just think, like you mentioned, every day we're seeing more opportunities grow. It feels great knowing that we may not be at our best, but we're still like I mentioned, we're hot right now. So knowing what we can do, kind of just a little confidence boost, and knowing we can be successful, even if we may not be 100% our best right now.
When you think about hot streaks, you generally think about offense and getting a lot of hits. For a pitching staff, what do you sort of associate with a hot streak? What are things that you're doing that are, yep, we're hotter right now at that because we're doing that better?
Yeah, I think like Morgan and Stevie are obviously doing a great job starting the game, and then we kind of just feel really good right now is like trusting each other, passing the ball to whoever it may be. Like starter, like Coach mentions, if you can give us 3 innings and that's all you got, that's fine. Give us your 3 innings, all you got, and then pass the ball. If you got 1 inning, pass the ball into the next. And I think we're really trusting each other really well and just doing a great job at passing the ball. That's what we talk about a lot.
Do you guys feel that, I guess just a question, as you go into a game, you're going to give everything you've got, but you also recognize, like, I may not be at 100%. My best today is only going to be 80. Do you recognize that and kind of communicate that ahead of time? Like, I can give you 2 innings and, I'm going to probably need some help, or you just give it all you got till your tank's empty?
Yeah, I mean, Coach will talk to us a lot, like, kind of just get like the insight on how you're feeling or what it is. But I mean, I think just it helps us really knowing like if I can give 3 innings all I have, I trust whoever it is coming after me that's going to close it out or finish the game or whatever. So I think really trusting each other just plays a huge role, knowing that if you give all you got in the short time they're in there or all 7 innings or whatever it is, you have people to back you up, which is really nice.
It's another combined no-hitter in your career. You threw it against Pacific earlier in the week. Just what's that feeling like that? Because it's not the first time you've been a part of a combined no-hitter.
Yeah, it feels great. I think the midweek games are just a great kind of like confidence booster a little bit. And then, yeah, Allison to just close it off was super cool too. So I'm super proud of her. And, yeah, just working together, like passing the ball into her, trusting her that she can finish it. So
how much better does it feel? I mean, not that you didn't last year, but the staff this year is more complete. Everyone's kind of able to be called on. You're not relying on 1 arm or 2 arms, or you've got a more complete unit. How does that feel this year compared to last year?
Yeah, really good. I mean, I think, like I've mentioned before, we all just trust each other and we just feel like super secure with where we're at right now. I feel like it's not, like you mentioned, it's not one person leading every game. It's like this person can start this game, this can start the next. It's kind of all throughout. So it's super nice to just be able to rely on each other and know that we're all going to get it done just the same. Everyone has trust in us. So
for you, who's been on this team now for 3 years, you're going into a part in the season where you're in the mix to host a regional. What would that mean for you in terms of the context across your entire career here, and then how important would it be for this team to be able to play postseason play here?
Yeah, I think just for the seniors, it would just be awesome just to host finally. Coach Lombardi too. That's been ever since I've been here. That's our number one thing we've talked about. Just hosting would be so awesome, and we're just so excited to see like the stadium filled. For me, I just think that's like also not just for the seniors, but for all of us. We're all hoping to host so bad, and we've talked about a lot like getting farther than we've made it. So I think hosting would give us a really good opportunity to be able to get to supers, and that's the farthest we've ever made it with Coach Lombardi. So I think that'd be awesome for our team.
You talk about the seniors, senior day coming up this week. What's that moment going to be like for you?
Yeah, it's going to be emotional for all of us, I'm sure, just because this is the team that's been there first with Coach Lombardi. So it's going to be a rough one, but I think just getting it done for the seniors, the sweep would be awesome for them. I think that's all they want. It's going to be a good day Sunday, but it's going to be a sad but happy day.
Is there a specific story with any one of the 5 or maybe a combination of them that you will sort of associate with your time here, your relationship with them after they move on or after you move on?
Yeah, I think my freshman year coming in was kind of like the back end of COVID. COVID was still like kind of we were right in the middle of it. And I think that group really like just stepped up and helped like guide us, as we weren't able to like do a lot as a team, just because we were still like distancing and stuff. So I think like Tara, Bunk, Kate, they did a great job at just kind of like showing us what to do, like everything. They kind of led us right through the right path. So that was super, super cool. So that's kind of why like my class may be pretty close with them. Kind of a tough one to let go, yeah.
This team seems like last year the team was tight. Lots of good relationships have been established. Again, this year, lots of good relationships. But it seems like the team has a different approach, kind of a greater than. Could you speak to what your thoughts on that, or how you perceive that, how you could explain that?
Yeah, this year more than any other, we've like really dived into playing for each other and everyone else's reason. At the beginning of the year, we kind of went over like your why, like why do you play, or what's the reason that pushes you so hard every day. So I think we all know each other's why, so that just kind of helps like if I come to practice and I'm not having the best day, I can rely on anyone else. I can lean on someone else, or I can pick someone else up, or I could tell someone like, pick me up today, I'm having a rough day, kind of thing, So I just think all of our connections are way stronger. We have nothing that gets in our way this year at all, so it's super nice. We're a very, very close team this year.
Would you attribute that to, in years past, the team has kind of always been close, but not quite. This year, you guys are actually getting over those hurdles. Do you think that might be one of the contributing reasons?
Yeah, definitely. I think on the field, everything is so smooth just because the communication, the connection, like just trusting each other goes such a long way. So yeah, I definitely think that like shows on the field a lot.
If you don't mind sharing, what's your why?
Well, my why originally was that I've just been coming to camps here since I was like 9 years old, and has always been my dream school. So I think just remembering like the little girl that this is literally my dream, I'm living out my dream. So days that it gets hard, we kind of just like think like there's kids that would literally do anything to be here. So giving your all just for those kids is super cool. And then my high school ball coach, he passed away when I was a junior in high school. So that's something that I always told him, like, this is my dream. So that's something that gets me through a lot, so that's another one.
Let's go back to your freshman season, maybe even when you were being recruited. Mm-hmm. And what were your first impressions of Bunk, Tara, and Kate?
Just leaders. I think they do such a great job at leading, and they still do. They never have stopped leading, so I think they really put this team on their shoulders a lot of the time. I mean, on and off the field. They're clutch on the field and off the field. We rely on them. We ask them any questions we have. That's another really big thing. We kind of more rely on them opposed to just, like going to Coach Amarty for the little things. Tara and Bunk and Kate can cover us with whatever it is.
What would be one characteristic that you would hope that you can ascribe from them and kind of use in the future?
Yeah, I think their confidence is something huge as a leader, kind of, that relays into it. They portray that on the field and off the field, like I mentioned, but yeah, they just kind of like put everyone on their back. We all look up to them, which I think is super cool. So I hope for the next upcoming classes that we'll be able to do that for them as well.
There you go. Reagan Breedlove, Duck softball. First of 3 tonight at 6 o'clock against Utah. We'll take a break, come back. Let's talk about the NCAA Westfield Regional with the head coach of Oregon Women's Golf. Title contender after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can go out and make memories that make summer, summer. Like catching a road game in a RAV4. I got it.
Toyota, let's go places. Participating dealers only. Event ends May 31st. Dealer inventory may vary.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, OnPoint proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. OnPoint Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can go out and make memories that make summer, summer. Like catching a road game in a RAV4. I got it.
Toyota, let's go places. Participating dealers only. Event ends May 31st. Dealer inventory may vary.
This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
It's time for today's STEM tip. Okay, you know recycling is important. No one wants plastic in the ocean. Here's a cool way to repurpose a plastic bottle. Build an awesome terrarium. Cut a large plastic bottle in half and fill the base with sand, pebbles, potting soil, and your favorite plant. I chose an African violet. Put the top of the bottle over your base and place it in the sun. Your plant will grow sealed in its own ecosystem. Fun, right? Learn more at She Can STEM. A message from the Ad Council.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio. Duck Insider is brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Well, this weekend's big for Duck softball and Duck baseball. Duck baseball, by the way, in action tonight at 6:30. But starting on Monday, postseason golf. Derek Radley, the head coach of Oregon Women's Golf, previewed the Westfield Regional, which is Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We'll see what the head coach has to say.
Exciting time of year. Obviously got great experience, set a pretty high bar last year. How is that impacting the way you're preparing this team? Do you want them chasing last year's results? Do you want them flushing it completely? How do you want them considering all that?
As a coach, I've gone back and forth a lot with that. I think, last year was really, really special, obviously. I think our best way to move forward is to just worry more so about this year. Obviously our expectations are probably a little higher because of last year. However, just trying to do our best each and every day and at every tournament is really the main focus. So excited for the opportunity to head back to regionals and really just take it one step at a time.
With every year being a new year, like how do you handle those expectations and how do you keep, maybe if you're not getting the same results, like obviously last year was a big step for the program, winning Pac-12s, coming up short this year, but still with the opportunity to, your season's not over yet. Like, how do you handle those expectations going into, I guess, postseason?
Yeah, I think, in sports in general, I think we tend to get a little bit ahead of ourselves. And so, one of my favorite sayings is we need to stay in the present. And I think if you stay in the present, it handles itself. And you're just trying to win each and every day. So, Cynthia Liu, who's been a superstar for us, she said she always plays her best golf when she really has no expectations. So just trying to go out and we'll map our strategy around the golf course, and figure out where we can save shots. I think we do a pretty good job of that and let the chips fall where they may.
Do you have potentially tougher decisions to make regarding a lineup this year compared to last year?
I do. Last year, our top five was pretty clear cut. Ashley Park has been a huge leader for us, and she's had an injury, and so Ashley's been out the last couple tournaments. But knock on wood, she seems pretty healthy to get back, and so it gave some of the others, the newbies, an opportunity to step up. And but with Ashley coming back, we're going to be deeper, and we talk a lot about golf now with this substitution option is great. Other sports have the opportunity to bring a full bench. If somebody gets sick, if somebody gets hurt, somebody's struggling, they have the opportunity to sub them in. And so now that we have that as golf, we're going to use that. And I think they got their minds wrapped around this being really a team effort. So excited for that, and we'll make the best decisions.
Initial thoughts on the course?
Yeah, excited. I think I found out I actually have a really good buddy that I've known for 20 years, has been a member there for the last 6 years. So when we get there, him and his wife and kiddos, they're gonna host us for a little team dinner when we get over there. And I was on the phone with him, and he got the club champion on the phone the other day, just kind of going through the course and getting some ideas. But we'll go about our normal business when we get there and figure it out. I'm excited though because I think it's gonna be similar type of grass, potentially similar type of weather, and we should be comfortable.
What do you think about where you guys fell when you were watching the show? Did you have any indication you were gonna go to Indiana, or was it kind of just?
I had flights on hold for Florida, but you never know.
Happy to avoid the bear trap.
Yeah, the bear trap is pretty good. The thing about the bear trap though is a lot of our kiddos, or a lot of our student athletes now have played it in junior golf. There's a really big junior tournament there, but maybe a little bit less time on an airplane going to Indy. Still going to be a 3-hour time change, so we're thankful we get to head out tomorrow on Friday and adjust to the time zone.
When you're dealing with so many different like climates and different courses and greens and stuff like that, like how does that make preparation for a postseason different than maybe some other sports?
Yeah, it's we're not playing on a 10-foot hoop, right? Everything's different, and so this region in particular in Indiana does not have a home team. So there's really going to be no home team advantage there, which is great. I think it's going to be a level playing field. But for us, I found out there's a lot of bunkers on the course. So we've been doing a lot of practice out of our bunkers here at courses. And then it's really about learning the elevation change. It's at 900 feet there, which is about double than we are here in Eugene. And but I think similar type of weather. So the ball should fly pretty similar, but we're really in tune with that and being very specific at finding our distances to know how far things fly. Yeah.
You kind of talked about it a little bit in terms of what you're kind of doing now. Travel day tomorrow. What do you do Saturday, Sunday to get ready for Monday?
Yeah, so Saturday, all teams can go on the course starting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Just open it up for practice. Not get on the course, just on their practice facilities, I think from 3 to 6 p.m. So we'll go and just start learning the speed of the greens, kind of just get comfortable, stretch out a little bit. And then our practice run on Sunday is at 8:30, so which is 5:30 here. So just adjusting to that, trying to get them used to the time zone, and just trying to make them feel as comfortable as possible. I mean, obviously there's a lot of pressure behind this tournament, a regional, but something I've been preaching and we talk about every day is we're just going to go treat it like any other tournament, and our goal is to win. We don't want to just finish top 5. And so if we go in with that mindset, I think it'll take care of itself.
Obviously got some veterans who've got experience on big stages, but also some newcomers to this team who weren't part of the run last year. Just how does that mix? How can they help each other and work together?
Yeah, I think our 3 returners have been huge. Just our newbies have really leaned on them for their experience. From last year, and I think just helping them realize, hey, we can trust in each other and we can trust in the process. We've put in the work. Let's just go have fun. Let's go play golf. So I don't think there's any real special recipe, but I'm very thankful that we have those 3 returners here that have experienced so much success last year.
It's Derek Radley, the head coach of Oregon Women's Golf, previewing the Westfield Regional, which gets going on Monday. Let's get a break, come back, more Duck Insider coming after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, OnPoint proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. OnPoint Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Jordan Brenner inside the Country Financial Studio on Duck Insider, which is brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ashley Park, part of the Ducks golf team. She's had a big first year with Derek Radley's program. Getting ready for the Westfield Regional. She spoke with the media yesterday.
Just considering that you've missed some time, just how eager, it's an exciting time of year anyway, but how eager are you in particular, you think, to just get out there and get going with regionals?
I'm definitely really excited. I've been preparing a lot for this kind of movement. Our whole team has actually been preparing so much for regionals and the championships, and we're really excited to get it going on in Indiana and start off strong, and finish strong as well. So that's our goal. Everyone's goal, actually. So yeah.
Considering what the team did last year, do you think there's pressure on this group, even though it's a different group now than last year's group in some ways? Do you think there's pressure on you guys?
There's no kind of pressure, really. We have the same goals. It's just the same as ever, There's nothing really to compare from the past to now, I'd say, just because of what this team had done last year. Nobody can really tell the future, but we're just gonna work as hard as we ever did before, and keep pushing strong and keep pushing each other. Yeah.
I feel like there's maybe a little chip on your shoulder heading into regionals this year, more so?
No, not really. It's the same as ever. Gonna compete out there and do my best and see how far I'll go.
Coach said that even though you're ranked second, your goal is to go in there and not just finish top 5, but to win. Do you feel like that mindset is gonna help you? Like, have you guys had that mindset all year? Like, how has that been?
Obviously, to have a good mindset going into the tournament, like wanting to win, it really pushes you to try your best. So I think it's really a good mindset for all of us, definitely for all our players and everyone trying to gain confidence in order to know that they believe that we can all win.
Ashley Park getting you ready for the Westfield Regional for Ducks Golf, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. Tonight is Jay Stoffel Day. Jay Stoffel and the Ducks in action against USC tonight at 6:30. Joey Mack with the pregame coverage at 6:15. Entering this weekend, Oregon is in third place in the Pac-12. 2 games behind Stanford. A game and a half behind Arizona State. Get some wins, that could all flip. Jay Stoffel, reigning pitcher of the week in the Pac-12. Quality starts at 5 of 6. Let's make that 6 of 7 tonight. Thank you to Ryan. Thank you to the entire crew. Enjoy Ducks sports all weekend. And as always, go Ducks.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't